Blog Talk Radio.
The purple angel, oh purple angel, you're next to me. Purple angel, oh purple angel, you're next to me. You're next to me. You're next to me.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host and founder of Alzheimer Speaks, Lori LeBay. And basically, I got into this world of dementia through my mother's own 30-year journey. Mom just recently passed away here in February, but she started having significant problems and went to the doctor in her mid-50s. Back at that time, she was told that it was just her hormones and change of life, and she wasn't formally diagnosed until she was 60, in her mid-60s. But she definitely knew, and so did the rest of the family, knew that it was more than just a hormonal issue. So out of that journey through my mom, and with my mom, I decided to start Alzheimer Speaks to give voice so that people could share their stories, what they've learned, what works, what doesn't work, because as a daughter dealing with this, I was just really frustrated that there wasn't any place to go. So Alzheimer Speaks is an advocacy-based company that provides multiple platforms to shift our dementia care culture from crisis to comfort. I think there's a lot of people out there spinning their wheels and in that crisis mode, and there's ways to help them just by sharing what it is we know. And I believe that by joining forces and sharing knowledge and just having the everyday conversations that we do here on Alzheimer Speaks Radio and with our Dementia Chats webinars and through our blog and resource directory, that we can really help those living with this disease live with purpose and live better lives, live to the fullest. Help them be able to find and still create joy, and to be able to remove the stigmas and the myths that are so strong out there and isolate so many. At our core, we believe that collaboratively we will win this battle, and I know that we are making a significant difference, and that is due to our audience. Your likes, your shares, your clicks are powerful, so don't ever underestimate the power of one. Through all of your likes and shares and clicks, you got us recognized as the #1 influencer online, according to ShareCare and Dr. Oz, and that is just a massive, massive honor that I can't thank you each enough, but again, it shows the power of collaboration. So today's show is just open mic. It's very simple format. People can call in and chat with us. I am still having problems with my chat box. I'm going to have to get to the bottom of this because I cannot see it. So if you want to communicate with me, you can go to my Facebook page if you'd like, Lori LeBay, and make comments there, or you can go to my email, which is Lori, Lori, at alzheimerspeaks.com, and I can field comments or questions there. Again, I really apologize that our chat box is not working, but I don't really have a whole lot of control over that one. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight a couple of things first before I pull in our first guest. We've got a couple of people on the line already, which is fantastic. This is World Alzheimer's Month, for those of you that don't know that. September is a fantastic month to be able to get out there and help raise awareness. If you're not familiar with the Purple Angel program, I highly recommend that you go to alzheimerspeaks.com, go to our About page, and then click on the tab that says Purple Angel. There you will find all kinds of information on how you can use this global symbol to raise awareness. We want this Purple Angel with the globe to be as well known and as popular and as accepted as the pink ribbon for breast cancer. We want people to feel proud to be associated with that. And individuals, businesses, and communities alike can all use that. All you have to do is read a poster, which is also on that page, and you're off and running. On Monday, I am going to have on the show Executive Director Mark Wortman with Alzheimer's Disease International with us. We're going to be doing a special show on a newly released study that I don't even think comes out until tomorrow on dementia and prevention. And then later today, I want to give a shout-out. I'm going to be seeing HealthStar Home Healthcare. They're going to be opening up their first memory cafe, so I'm going to help them launch that. The Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation, again, one of my favorite organizations that approaches things in a holistic fashion. So from food to exercise to meditation, general engagement, they do some great educational programs. Highly encourage you to check those out. And then for people who are dealing with Lewy body or frontal temporal lobe or aphasia, remember there are associations that deal specifically with this, and that would be to your benefit to connect with them. For those of you that are not familiar with Alzheimer's Music Connect, it's one that you might want to Google and check out. They are going to be launching a brand new CD for the holidays, which I'm really excited about. It's absolutely fabulous and will be a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in our first guest here. We've got Carol Larkin with us. Carol, how are you today?
I'm great, Lori. And you?
Well, good. Can you tell people a little bit about yourself, what you do and where you're from and what you're up to?
Sure. Be happy to do that. I am a certified dementia consultant. I do that as my living. Sometimes it seems 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, but the need never stops. I'm located in Dallas, Texas. However, I do consults with people, personal consults with people all over the nation via telephone. My goal is to help every family I can deal with the difficulties of Alzheimer's or any of the other dementia, Lewy body, Parkinson's, frontal temporal, any of that. I do this in memory of my mother, who did have Alzheimer's, and she was actually my first client, so to speak. My mother had Alzheimer's, not quite as long as yours did, Lori. As a matter of fact, nowhere near as long as yours did, but I was lucky to be able to catch it early, and for the last, I would say 6 years of her life, she had as good an experience living with Alzheimer's as one could ever expect, and in her memory, I try and reach out and help as many other families as possible who are going through this, in the same sense that you are, Lori.
Well, that's wonderful. I have a question for you. I just got an email, and maybe you might have an answer to this because I don't. I got an email from a woman who is living in Spain with a partner who has dementia, but they need English-speaking care partners. Do you have any connections in Spain, or have any ideas of what would be the best way for them to try to find information on English-speaking care partners?
Boy, that is a good question. I may be able to help in this sense. I belong to the National Association of Geriatric Care Managers, and we have a listserv that we query all of the other care managers across the United States. I could put that query up and see if there is somebody in the United States that knows a resource like that in Spain.
Oh, that would be wonderful, Carol. That would be absolutely wonderful. We've got quite a few callers on the line here, but I want to just give you time as well to, is there anything new that you're working on? I know you've got just tireless efforts going on. Carol is just absolutely amazing. She's just a fabulous writer. She has a lot of her articles on the Alzheimer's Reading Room. I've published some. I know they're all over, but just very, very good information. She's been involved with the memory cafes and you name it. She's fired up and ready to go to shift our dementia care culture. But is there anything in particular that you want to let people know that you're working on right now, Carol?
Yes, Lori. Thanks for asking. I'm always up to something. My latest thing is person-centered care. I've got a couple of articles about it coming out. One is reference to a wonderful movie, which I imagine you've spoken about, that I hope that everybody sees, because it's a movie about the joy that's possible in dementia. It's oh my gosh, I just had a mind blur. It's Inside Out.
Oh, Alive Inside.
Alive Inside. That's absolutely right. Alive Inside. That's awful. It is fabulous. Fabulous. I'm going to write about it and its relation to the person-centered care concept. I don't know if you've seen it, Lori, but wow, it is so cool.
It is marvelous. It's one of those shows that will put a smile on your face instantly, and you'll walk out of the screening talking about it with everyone. And realizing the power that music has in your own life. And you don't have to be ill for it to have that significant impact on us, but you'll walk away going, wow, I have had a gem in my pocket all this time and didn't know the significance of it. And it was so amazing to see those faces light up instantly. And people can say, oh, that was edited out, but it's like I've seen it myself, the power of music, and it's instant. There's a glint in the eye, a smile comes, the dimples show, there's a giggle, they're singing, their feet are tapping, or their hands, they're swaying. I mean, it is instant, and that it shows on film the ripple effect of that and what it even does in a room and how it affects everyone else when that mood is shifted and that energy and kind of how we're all interconnected. It's fabulous. It is fabulous. I heard it's going to be available like on Netflix and things in October, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I surely hope so, because it's powerful. So you'll have to let me know when that is out, because I'll be more than glad to help push that out. I've been trying to get a hold of them to have them on the radio to talk about it. We've got one of our homes here, Walker Methodist, is started the program and is trying to raise, I think, like $80,000 to get more stuff out too into their communities, which I'm really glad to see here locally. So I hope it catches on. He's in a lot of nursing homes. I can't remember how many, but I mean, it was a pimple compared to how many, nursing homes and assisted livings that we have. So that'll be wonderful for because you have such a great following. So I think that'll get picked up and moved forward, which will be great.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
That's probably the newest thing.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in so much, and all your efforts are always appreciated by us. And, anything we can do for you, you just let us know, Carol, because you're doing wonderful work out there. And I appreciate you taking the time in to call in this morning and join us. How do people reach you if they want to get a hold of you, Carol?
Pretty simple. They can get a hold of me via email, and that's the name of my business, which is Third Age Services, and I'll spell it THIRDAGESERVICES, Third Age Services @gmail. I answer it, all times of the day and night. Also,
okay.
if they want to call me, they can call me at 214-491392, and that will get directly to me. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, thanks. You have a wonderful week now, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon, okay?
Oh, all right. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm going to pull in our next caller here, and I'm not sure, but I think this might be Joe. Joe, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you just fine. Joe, can you give people a little bit of background of who you are and why you're calling in today?
Okay, my background is my name is Joe Brazil, and I'm originally from Mobile, Alabama, by way of Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi. Now I'm in Indiana. The reason why I'm calling is because about 2008, well, specifically August of 2008, my wife was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. At the time, I had a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old. I'm not even sure anymore. I get so confused, but I had young children at the time. And so since 2008, I've been on this walk, this journey of dealing with my wife's. Sometimes I think it's slow, sometimes I think it's fast. If you met her, you wouldn't think anything about it. I don't tell her that she has Alzheimer's because it just makes her cry, and her mother had the same thing and passed in 2011. And so my journey is just simply dealing with that. My children are now 23, 21, and 16. So my passion is pretty much along the lines of dealing with early onset in children. I think a lot needs to be done in that area alone. Most people, when you tell them, they find out that your wife has early onset in Alzheimer's, they're like, well, a deer in the headlight look. So they don't know what to do. It's true. That's the answer. They don't know what to do. So what we have to do is give them things to do to help us. That's what I've learned.
Okay.
And there's some other things that I have passion about. One would be dealing with Medicaid, dealing with children in general. But we're going to have to deal with it from the top down. Bottom up's not working. So what happens is the children get anxious and eventually they get in trouble because they're watching their parent die is what they're watching, And there's a lot of anxiety in that, and so they act out and they get in trouble, and I could speak into that a lot as well. So that's what I'm calling, and just dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. I've learned one thing that needs to be addressed big time is moving from one state to another with Medicaid and going through all of the minefield of that. Tomorrow I'm meeting with the Medicaid people here, a caseworker, and that definitely needs to be addressed. So that's what I'm calling in. If I can help people, that's what I want to do from my experience. And I've got a lot of experience after all these years in dealing with children and early onset. So now she was 46 at the time. She's 53 now. She's at a quote-unquote adult daycare during the day, which she thinks that's her job. That's where she goes to work. But she couldn't work a microwave to save her life. But she's sweet, and I love her, and I care for her. And whenever I was standing in front of God and everybody on August 1st, 1987, I said I do in sickness and health, and that's what I do. But the stress level, as we all know, is sometimes it's overwhelming. But we have to look for those daylight moments and find humor in all of this. That's kind of the biggest lesson I've learned. And with that said, I'll be quiet.
No, that's okay. It's great. I mean, we love to be able to hear other people's stories and what is going on. It's so critically important for us to be able to share and hear. So I thank you very much for taking the time, Joe, to call. Now, do you have kids at home now, or are they grown and out of the house?
Yeah, I have my two oldest. My daughter is in Brandon, Mississippi, and she's not in a home, and I have a 21-year-old. He's also in Brandon. I have a son that's in Mississippi still. He's 16. I don't have him with me. I can't really comment on that. Let's just say that he's got himself into some trouble. But I mean, he didn't kill anybody. But he's a good kid. He's just. I'm telling you. I'm telling you the truth that something needs to be. I know what needs to be done about this, and it wouldn't cost anything to do this, to manage this in terms of our school systems from the top down. What we have to do is we have to initiate a nation and international program that when people are going for their boards, like lawyers and doctors and professionals, that they need to have just add in a little bit of ink to ask a question on there on how to identify a child that's having anxiety problems. I'll give you an example. When I first moved from Little Rock to Brandon, I was just like not even knowing what was going on. This was in December of 2008. That's not a good time ever for anybody to move, but I did it because I didn't know what to do. She was afraid to drive over the Arkansas River, and there was all kind of stuff that was going on. So when we moved there, initially I got with our church, and I was able to put on an Alzheimer's program with a local Alzheimer's chapter there. And we had people from all over coming in to learn about Alzheimer's. I mean, from Vicksburg to Hattiesburg to all over. And the previous week, I'd gotten a call from my son's teacher, who's now 21. He was 15 at the time. And he was saying, we need to have a conference. Your son's coming in. He's putting his head on the desk. He's not paying attention. He's got anxiety. He's not causing any trouble, but he's just not doing anything. And we had the meeting, and after the meeting, an older lady came up and tapped me on the shoulder, and she said, well, I understand now. I said, oh, she says, I'm Joseph's teacher. And now I get it. See, the teachers in society in general, they're not asking the right questions. Whenever they see a student with his head down, they're not really delving in terms of identifying, well, what's going on with this child? Could it be, well, maybe their parents an alcoholic, maybe they're facing anxiety, because Kim's fetish was cigarettes. So what she would do is she would just smoke a cigarette and forget that she smoked it and light up again and light up again. I mean, I was going through a fortune in generic cigarettes, and hence she got lung cancer. So we got two terminal diseases. And what was going on is Joseph was just staying up at night just worrying about all this, and I was out of town trying to, take care of my business to live, day to day. So my point is that these teachers and these administrators, so I called a meeting at the Rankin County School Board. I got all of these administrators together, psychiatrists, the counselors and things like that. And we had a meeting. It was toward the end of the school year, and I looked at each counselor and I said, do you know anything about this disease? And they just shook their head. They didn't. I'll give you another example. So I'm just saying that before we release these people out on society who look at the statistics, it's not going to change, especially with the baby boomers and, as we're aging out, it's not going to change. And we don't know what's causing it. I mean, I don't even know historically how far it goes back and what was the first identified case before Alzheimer's. I'm getting off track here, so I want to point out to another example. Kim has early onset. Now, we know that when we talk about Alzheimer's, when you mention that name, that word, that phrase, it conjures up, well, my grandfather had it, my grandmother had it, so-and-so's great aunt had it and died of it. That's all that they know. Or I went to an old folks' home, and there they were just stuck in a chair. We see these quote-unquote crazy people walking around. Now, that's the idea you get when you mention it. People don't understand that I believe that 30% of all divorces in the United States are probably related to early onset, that these people are starting to get it, and these lawyers are real quick. In fact, they told me and Kim when I first delved into this that, she was so acting crazy that I thought about divorce. But the lawyer said, yeah, that's what you need. So there we go, attorneys even. Now, let me get back to my point here, and then that guess that'll be enough because this is what I'm trying to tell you. I would take Kim to a doctor, let's say any doctor, a nurse, and I would fill out all the paperwork, and I would go in and I would sit there and I would see, because she has another precancer thing going on, because I'm not a female. I don't know how to deal with females. I mean, there's just so much I can do, and she has a condition that 80% of women get. So there's another issue going on there that I was taking her to see this doctor about. I filled out all the paperwork, and we're sitting there, and we go into the waiting room, and I write down on the paper what she has. And I write down only do not mention to her that we're talking that she has Alzheimer's, because it does not make any point. It does nothing but gets her upset, and there's no point in it. There's just no point in telling her she's got it. Why would you want to do that? I write it in big bold letters. I turn in my paperwork. We get ushered into the room. We're sitting there. The nurse comes in. She does her vitals. Oh, how you doing, Kim? That kind of thing. And then they start talking to her like she knows what's going on. And I'm saying, excuse me, they didn't even bother to read the paper. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, that these nurses and people like that, they're rushing people through, and I would think it would be for anything. So they were treating her as on the outside, she looks fine. If you looked at my old Facebook, you could see pictures of her, and you say, well, there's nothing wrong with her, and there's not. I mean, she's as healthy as a horse, but she's just got problems that we all know that takes a lot of patience. Did I mention a lot of patience? So those are my sticking points that I'm really pursuing, and as well, those are the top things I wanted to work on, as well as the thing with Medicaid. I could address a little bit of that. Moving from Mississippi, I don't know if your audience has experience with that, with Medicaid, but Mississippi takes a lot of hits as far as being the last. But let me tell you, that's the most compassionate, loving state I've ever been in this United States. They care about people. In Mississippi, the rules are, it goes from state to state. But if you're going for Medicaid, they base it on individual. All right? So household, if you've got I know the rules may have changed, but like $120,000, I don't have it. I don't have it. I just spend it all taken care of. Now, that doesn't count your house or your cars. So you can apply for Medicaid. You don't need to spend $10,000 for a lawyer to do this. You can do this yourself. You just go fill out the paperwork. You go submit it. They don't have any assets in their name, and then you get help. Like I was telling you, in Mississippi, I was able to get, general Medicaid help. And I thought when I moved across state lines, it would be pretty much no problem, pretty much the same. No. Every state is different. Every state is different. In Indiana, they count your 401k. So if I want to get Kim on Medicaid, I gotta cash in everything. Well, to me, that's contrary to that's almost unconstitutional. I mean, that would be like against the law. Well, not against the law, but if you go in and cash in your 401k, you're going to get penalized about 30%. So if you have $100,000, you're going to give the government $30,000 just because you crossed the state line. That's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Kim goes, the saving grace, which really isn't, if she goes to needing a Medicaid bed in that area, I have no idea. That's just not even where I want my heart to go, to tell you the truth. I really don't want it to go there. It just hurts really too badly to even think about that. But if she goes there, the state's a little bit more compassionate because they don't count your 401k and all that kind of stuff in that case. So those are the things that I really believe we need to analyze and look at state to state. If the federal dollars are being distributed among states, then they need to get together here and come up with something, because it's very inhumane. If somebody has to move from one state to another, which I had to do because of a job change, my job got outsourced to India, I had to take this job. And I never imagined I'd be living up here, but there was a reason. God gave me a reason for this. And maybe this is it. Now, when you move across state lines, these are federal dollars, then why cannot we get the federal government involved and help us sort this out? Why does it have to be so complicated, especially when it's hard enough to deal with somebody that, you wonder, you have to sleep with one eye closed and one eye open, and they might escape outside in the middle of the night. Who knows what? Now, she's not doing that, but there's always a possibility.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I had to say right now. I think I told you everything I had to say.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in and sharing your story, Joe. It's an important one. I think with your goals of what you're after with Medicare and changing things in the schools and with professionals, is really important. Some of the kids are starting to want support groups in schools that are dealing with dementia. This is a much bigger problem than a lot of people think because, again, people don't talk about it. And then educating the kids as well. I know I've gone in and done educational programs for the schools, and it's amazing. They love getting the information, but they keep saying over and over again that, no one tells us what's going on. We don't know how to help. We want to help, but we don't know. We don't know everything. And I think that sometimes as parents, we don't always share with our kids, and it might be our own parents or it might be grandparents, it could be aunts and uncles they're dealing with. I mean, the variety is quite large in there. But when something like this happens, it shifts the household dynamics in a big, big way. And our young kids can't always understand why that is, why those needs have changed. And I can see where it could cause a lot of frustration and anger and all different types, depression and all different types of things can come into play, and they're at such a vulnerable state to begin with. So I can appreciate how you've got your hands full there. I'm going to pull Harry Urban in here and just see. Harry actually is living with Alzheimer's disease. Harry, are you there?
Hi, Sue Ann. How are you doing today?
Good, Harry. I was just thinking that you might have some ideas or some comments for Joe, talking about dealing with his wife with young onset and having a young family. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that, Roy. With the youth of today, we're kind of overlooking them with support. And now we started up a teen and young adult group in Forget Me Not, and it's very hard to get the youth involved in that because number one, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it to adults. So the adult supervision, and we really don't know how to get around that. But times are changing, and attitudes are changing. And I do see light And one of the things that we started up on Forget Me Not is I wanted to reach out to more people. I wanted to help more people. And I got such a backlash on people being afraid that the group is going to get too large and you're going to lose that intimate safety net that you have. So after doing a lot of thinking and brainstorming about that, the direction we are now going into is we're not going to have individual support groups within Forget Me Not. I just started up a group for Lewy bodies, and that took off real good. I mean, it's really growing. I'm getting so many requests now. Can we start up one on FTD or vascular dementias and things like that? And I say, sure, as soon as we get one off the ground and we iron out all the mistakes so we don't keep making the same mistakes. But it seems like people nowadays don't want to be involved in a large support group. They want individual little groups that they know everybody and things like that. And dementia covers so many different things that we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it is difficult and it's complicated to meet all the needs, but the intimacy of a small group is, I mean, there's just nothing like it. And people know what to expect. They know how to support one another, and it's kind of like when you're young and you're dating or something, and you bring somebody new home to the family, and you got to figure out how they're going to fit into all the dynamics. And as a group grows, that twisting and turning can take its toll on some people, I'm sure, with that. So did I hear you right? Did you say that you do have a group for young adults?
Yeah, we do. We started that up some time ago, maybe 6 months ago or so. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to find young adults that could oversee the group because I didn't want a bunch of us old people getting involved in that because, number one, I don't speak their talk. I mean, they talk different than I do. So I wanted to get the young people involved in it to oversee the group and to help pull in people of their own, so they can have. Now, I have to make sure that the site is safe.
Okay.
That's one of the most important things that I have, that the site is safe and somebody can't sneak in under the pretense of being a young adult and taking advantage of the situation. So we do have people keeping an eye on it to make sure it's safe. But that's so needed. Memory cafes for just teens, I think, is needed.
Okay.
They have to be able to talk about the things.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Joe, is that something that you think would have helped your son to have a support group to be able to talk about the situation at home?
Well, the problem with this, not a problem, is that we lived out in the country. And like 6 miles from civilization.
Okay.
And I would, and at the time to try to get my son online, there was not very much peer pressure in that way. Getting it from the top down, like, is the best way to go to get the ones involved that need to be involved. Let me give you an example. When we first moved there, Kim said, excuse my language, she said, I have to pee. Well, we pull in the parking lot, she gets right there in front of God and everybody and pee. And then, of course, kids are cruel, so they tell other kids what's going on. And then when he gets to school, they're making fun of his crazy mother. Another, stuff like that, and he gets angry. There's more to it than that. And unfortunately, I have to get back to work, and that was another problem, is that whenever I'm trying to, support groups are great. I'd love to be them, But I get up at 5:30, go to work. When I get home, I got to cook dinner, take care of her, and I'm exhausted. So email is a good way to communicate with me. And on weekends, I could do some stuff. But right now, I'm just trying. I mean, I moved from Mississippi to Indiana. That's like going to a whole new country.
Yep.
There's a joke in there.
Well, listen.
But I would like to. I would like to say that I'd like to go at this politically and maybe get with the head honchos at the Alzheimer's, the people that have accepted this money from NAPA, from the government. We need to sit down with them and talk to them. I don't see anything in there, or I hadn't looked at it in a while, but in that funding, they need to spread some of that love around to deal with not just early onset, but helping families with this. And I may be speaking, out of turn here, but that's what I think it needs to be, done with is talk to the Alzheimer's and say, look, it's great. Every time I hear them, they're raising money. Okay, well, that's great that you're raising money. Now, what are you doing with it? Research. There's other parts of that, and I know they do some grants, but that needs to be looked at, I think, a little bit more. So I'm talking about politically, not only at them, but also nationally, and state by state and community by community. And that's really all I have time to talk about. But you've got my email address, and I hope that you'll still you'll talk to me after what I said, but I do mean it.
Yep, I will definitely continue to talk to you, Joe, and I appreciate you taking the time out of work to call in today and join us. So you have a great week, and again, thank you for taking the time today. Okay,
God bless
bye
you.
now.
And you got my email, and I'll be happy to talk to anybody. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. It's so hard to hear people struggle so much, through this journey, and Harry, it firsthand. You see it all the time. Not an easy thing to do. I'm going to pull in. We've got another caller here, Harry. If you can hang with us, we've got somebody on a 610. You are live and on the air. If you'd like to state who you are and why you called in today, 610.
Is that me?
That's you. And who is it?
Hi, Harry and Lori. It's Lauren.
Oh, hi, Lauren.
Hi.
How you
doing? Harry, number one, I am not old. Number two, don't ever call me old. And number three, I will do your teen thing. I told you that before. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm not sure. Harry, are you there?
I'm not sure I understand. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand it. This is the Lauren that I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Lauren, you're one of my dearest friends, and I love you dearly, and I would never call you old. I support you with all my heart, and I hope you know that. I am walking with you the whole way.
I was joking, Harry.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was joking about the age, but I'm not joking about I will help you with the teens, because I'm old, but I'm not that old.
You're only as old as you feel.
Well, then I'm old. But I will do that with you, Harry.
Oh, Lauren, okay. I know you will.
So, Lauren, can you tell us what your connection to dementia is?
I am, or was, or still am, or whatever, a registered nurse for over 30 years. I worked in psychiatry and dementia, and now I am 51, so that's old, but not that old, and diagnosed. Well, that's about age 46. Things start happen. I was still working. Early onset Lewy body, and then a couple days I think ago, I find out also probably early onset Alzheimer's 2. Yay for me!
Yeah, aren't you lucky?
I always have been an overachiever. So, Harry and I have become friends, and you can see my very scary hallucinations all over Forget Me Not and stuff. But I used to be a fairly good artist. Harry has made some, I don't know what you call that, Harry, but took some of my old art and made I don't know the word.
Like a slideshow presentation.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember this being brought up. Was it on Dementia Chats? I think Harry had mentioned what a beautiful artist you are.
What a beautiful artist I used to be. Now my life is just filled with Louis hallucinations, scary monster things. Mm-hmm. But Harry and a lot of the friends I've made on Forgive Me Not have encouraged me to start some, try to start some pretty art again. It's very hard to see through the scary, ugly monster things. I am now literally my patients. So it's a very hard transition.
Okay. And that's definitely understandable with that. It's got to be very frustrating to you. But it sounds like from what Harry's told me, and I haven't seen any of your art, I would love to see it sometime. To know that art is always beautiful. It may have changed, how it's done and what it looks like, but to me, the beauty is inside the artist coming out, whatever that is, and you taking that passion and that drive and still moving forward, even with the disease. I mean, to me, there is just such beauty in that alone, without even seeing it, just knowing that you have this creativity in you and you want to share it. I think it's just such a beautiful, rare thing, and so I thank you for continuing to do your art and to share it with others.
Can I add some things, Roy?
Sure.
With Lauren. Lauren has a story to tell, and her story to tell is what it's like living with Lewy bodies. Now, we tend to shy away from hearing the ugly side of our disease, but it's still there. Now, Lauren is a beautiful artist, beautiful. Even the scary pictures she draws are beautiful. If you take away the scariness from them and look at the painting itself, they're beautiful. Now, Lauren draws what she sees. She's not making it up, but she draws what she sees every day. And what I'm trying to encourage you that, we have this scariness in our life, but we still have beauty in our life. Mm-hmm. And she was able to draw some beautiful stuff before, and some of the things she's drawing now is not scary. I mean, now she thinks in her eyes it's scary, but it's toned down so much, and she's a wonderful person. I just love her to death, and she's starting to see the light, and she's starting to see that there is things besides scariness. You know, I'm trying to encourage her to use her talents to help herself. You know, start seeing the good things in life, and that's going to help you feel so much better. And you know what? It's working. I see such a change in Lauren. Yes, it just makes me feel so good. I mean, I am walking with her the whole way, and when she strays off the path, I'm going to be there to help her get back on the path and enjoy her life.
You're making me blush, Harry.
Good. You deserve it.
Well, that is fantastic. It's just so nice to see and hear people connect, you know, on this level, you know, through social media. People think, oh, that can't happen, you know, if you can't physically see somebody and meet somebody. But, you know, what you have done through Forget Me Nots, Harry, and what Rick has done with Memory People and the other groups has just been amazing out there in terms of giving people a place to be able to share and connect and support and build community. It's just so important for all of us. So I just think that's absolutely fabulous. And I think it's exciting that you're looking at doing a group for teens. I know that you know, it's been talked about before, and it's a struggle. You know, just because with young adults and children, you know, you just have to be so careful of their vulnerabilities and making sure that it's overseen even a little bit more so than the adult sites, so that they're protected and yet can still be open so they feel comfortable and want to go there. Not always an easy balance in the world we live today. So I give you kudos to that. Harry, I was going to ask you, too, I threw this out to Carol Larkin earlier. You know, I got a letter from a woman who is lives in Spain and is looking for a English-speaking care partner for her loved one. And I know that you have a Spanish-speaking group, and I didn't know if any of them were maybe over in Spain and might know or have any connections as to who they could connect with to find an English-speaking care partner in Spain. Any ideas?
That's something that we're very involved with through the Dementia Mentors project that we have going on that is worldwide. And that's something that I would like to bring up because we have so many connections now worldwide. It's not just in the States anymore. That we've branched out so far that there's connections everywhere. I mean, we helped out people in Australia. We helped out people in India, and I'll pass it along and I'll ask around, and I'm sure the information is there for you. We just have to find it. Okay.
Yeah, there's got to be somewhere to go. I mean, there's this can't be the only couple dealing with this at all. You know, it just said that they're British and they live in Spain, but Sheila can't speak Spanish, and so they really need to find an English-speaking care group or society in Spain that they can communicate with. And so, yeah, if you hear of anything, or if any of our listeners know, please let me know so that I can then reach back to this couple and get back to them and let them know, where things are at. That would be wonderful.
One thing else I wanted to talk about a little bit, Lori, is when Joe mentioned that the bottom up strategy doesn't work, that you have to go from the top down. Now, I'm not quite sure I understand what that means, but my philosophy is different than that. I think we have to reach the youth of today. That's why we are working so hard in getting the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts involved with badges to promote dementia awareness and things like that, because I think that if we can educate the young people that as they grow up, they're going to get more knowledge. Now, it's so hard for us to educate the experts because they are so set in the field that they're not listening to us. So I honestly think that if change is going to be made, it's going to be made by the people living with dementia. They are the movers and shakers that are going to make it happen.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree, and I think I look at like the Purple Angel Project. I mean, that really has started at the bottom. That's a grassroots effort. It's not starting at the top and trickling down because there's too many people at the top that it wasn't their idea, so they didn't want to get involved. And so the public is really almost forcing people to get on board with this, saying this is the right thing to do. We need to work together. This isn't about ownership. It really is about greater good and stuff. So it's very, very interesting. I think when it comes to shifting our dementia care culture, we probably have to come at it from all different angles. And we have to, kind of like Alzheimer Speaks, use multiple platforms to reach people because people learn differently. They engage, using different modes, just like you're finding with your group Forget Me Not. And we have to be very conscious of what actually is working, not what have we always done, but what the heck really works and why. Why is it working? Or why isn't it working, I think is very, very important for us to look at and acknowledge. Lauren, was there anything else that you wanted to chime in on?
No, just yay, Harry.
He's wonderful, isn't he? I'm seeing those pom-poms going, Lauren. Well, I really appreciate you calling in and taking the time. It's always nice to hear from our listeners, and I really encourage you to continue to share your art. And if you'd ever like to share some pieces on our blog, Alzheimer Speaks, I would love to help push that out for you as well. And I think it's very important. Harry's spoken so highly about your artwork and your story. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. So thank you for being brave and joining the forces of getting your voice out there and being heard. We can't do this without you guys. We need you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Harry, anything else that's going on with you with Forget Me Nots, or?
I went through a period of I got so frustrated by that we're not reaching more people, that we're not helping more people, and I started to doubt myself. Am I doing enough? Is there other things we could be doing? And the more I thought about it, the more problems I got because of everybody saying about keep it small, keep it intimate. And I'm saying, but my goodness, there's thousands of people out there that could benefit from what we have. We have to reach them. And then I got to thinking, I don't have to do it. But all I have to do is reach the right people, motivate them, and have them do it. And if we all work together, we're going to reach those people. And it doesn't matter whose name is on it. That doesn't matter to me. That if somebody starts up a mini cafe and they say, well, we had 20 people come to it. Well, you know what? That's 20 people that didn't have help before.
Yep.
And if we can have them spring up in every neighborhood of every town of every city, then we're growing. The word is getting out, and that's exactly what I want to see. I don't want one name stamped on it as this is the authority on dementia, because there's no such thing. But if enough people come together, work together, that we'll get it done.
Yeah, and I totally believe that as well. I think it really is a group effort, one that we all have to share in. And I mean, I look at Alzheimer's Speaks, and being able to have that recognition from Share Care and Dr. Oz as, the number one influencer online for Alzheimer's. It's like that wasn't me. I'm just a small piece of that. But it's everybody, it's everyone else chipping in, saying, you know what, we can make a difference if we work together, if we share the knowledge. And everyone, just those little clicks, those little likes that people think don't count really, really matter. And they make a huge difference, because all it takes is one person, to meet the need of one person. And you can change their life. And when you change that one person's life, you're going to change, a handful of others at minimum, because they're going to feel the effect too. And so, we have to frame it really differently in terms of the power of one. We really have to look at its importance and stop belittling. Everything doesn't have to be big and grand, because if everything was big and grand, then nothing would be big and grand. So we have to appreciate, I think, all the little steps that we take in terms of building, and knowing that meeting the need of one is just as important as meeting the need of many, because you don't know at what level you're making that difference. And again, the ripple effect, we all want to be bigger and better, and we all want the disease to go away, but in reality we also can only do so much within our own little corner of the world, within our own lifestyles, within our own budgets, and we have to be grateful for what it is we are able to do and the difference that we are making. And sometimes I think sometimes we're our own worst critics. When it comes to effect. I mean, I beat myself up all the time. People are like, "Are you nuts? How do you do what you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Someone's got to do it." And you don't realize. I don't think any of us really realize the impact that we have on others until we slow down to actually maybe listen to the comments or actually take them to heart. Sometimes we hear them, but we don't really take them in. Does that make sense?
We have too much to do, so we don't look at what we accomplish. It's so much ahead of us what we have to do, and that's my fault. That's my downfall, if you want to call it that. I tell people to stop and smell the roses, but I never take my own advice.
Yeah.
I never do. And so many people point that out to me that in fact, one person in particular loves to tell me, "Hey, Harry, I have something that I read the other day," and he reads it to me, and it makes so much sense to me. And he says, "Harry, you wrote that." And I thought, "Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed." I mean, it's a classic case that the words come out of my mouth, but they don't go in my ear.
Well, you are full of such great wisdom. It's kind of spooky sometimes. The information that you share and the way that you are able, to phrase things. You and Norms and Rick and Barry and Michael and so many others, Dina and Steve. You're just truly all such a gift to all of us. So I really want to thank you for calling in today and supporting the show and because your information and your knowledge in your life is just so valuable to the rest of us. And Lauren, you too, thank you so much for calling into the show. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today. I'm not going to do a full 2 hours just because I have to get running to the Memory Cafe that we're going to open up with Health Star Home Care today. So I'm very excited about that. And I don't want to be late since I'm going to be facilitating the first one there on that. Any last minute comments, Lauren, that you'd like to add, or?
Yay, Harry!
Yay, Harry! Okay. and Harry, how about you? Any last wise words that you want to pass on?
Yeah, Lauren, stop it. No, my advice to everybody is reach out and help somebody. And that's it.
And that's great advice because it always feels good to help someone else, and when you give, you receive tenfold. And I think in this busy world, sometimes we forget about slowing down to take the time to help somebody else. We forget about what we will receive out of that as well, the gift of being able to assist someone, to help them find calm or whatever it might be, is pretty darn huge. And I don't think we slow down enough to appreciate that. So good advice, Harry. Thank you all for joining us. And again, hopefully by next time I will have the chat box up and running and figured out where we've kind of been chatting with them in the background, and it sounds like it might be an issue with moi here. So I'm going to have to do some more work on my computer and Adobe Flash and see if we can get that fixed. I do want to just highlight that if you missed our last show, we met with Grind Dining, which is just a fabulous new company coming out that really puts independence and dignity back into finger foods. Really is a great thing for people further along with dementia, but for young kids, for any disease, anyone who has difficulty utilizing utensils and needs finger food, check into Grind Dining. Right now they're launching primarily in communities like nursing homes, assisted livings, but in the future they hope to have this available in the home as well. Our next radio show, actually we're putting some extra ones in this month because it is World Alzheimer's Month. On Friday, I am going to have people on for Fuel for Thought, what makes our bodies run better. And that one we're going to start at 11 o'clock Central Time, so that will be noon Eastern Time, so a little bit later. And then on Monday the 22nd, we'll have Mark Wortman on, the Executive Director from Alzheimer's Disease International. He's going to talk about the new research study that is going to be released, I believe, tomorrow. And then on the 23rd, we have a 2-hour special long program on keeping safe in today's world, and we're going to be talking about Project Lifesaver. So that'll be a great one. We're going to have a variety of people on that show. The last Dementia Chats was September 9th, and we had a great discussion on on the phrase "living well with dementia" and how that phrase makes people with dementia feel. And for me, it was an eye opener, and it's something that I will be changing in the future. So I recommend people go ahead to go back to Alzheimer's Speaks website, go to the About page and click on Dementia Chats. You can watch that video, that webinar, or any of the other past ones anytime. We'll be having our next Dementia Chats on the 23rd. And then for our blogs, there's a couple of really interesting blog posts. I just put one on last night. Our friend Sandy Halperin was featured on CNN on driving in dementia. I also put on that blog post the 2-hour radio show that we did on driving with dementia that was very interesting. And so check that out. A little later today, there's also going to be a post with a journalist called Greg O'Brien, who has been diagnosed. And there are 4 features that Channel 5 did, and I've posted the first. I'm going to do one a week on Greg O'Brien. Very, very interesting. He's a journalist who has been journaling his own personal journey and struggle with this disease. Michelle, our intern, did a nice post Sunday night called "The Treasure of Letters," which is really quite nice. And then there is also a post on the 14th for Aging Info Radio. And Sue Zawacki interviewed both myself and Mara Botanis, which is a great interview. I encourage you to listen to that. And then on September 11th, I wrote a post about learning to say goodbye. And for me, it was really about, even though my mom passed in February, it was really about selling the family home, getting that ready, how I view possessions, just that whole other piece of what you do afterwards. And I've really been quite touched by the process as a whole. So again, I appreciate everybody promoting Alzheimer's Speaks radio and our website. Together, I know that we can really make a difference. If you have a product, tool, or service that you think others can use, please register that in our resource directory. It doesn't cost any money to do. If you need instructions, just shoot me an email. Again, go to alzheimersspeaks.com. To contact me, there's a big contact button up top. Just click on that and shoot me an email. Again, September is World Alzheimer's Month, so if you're not a Purple Angel and you'd like to be part of that program and project, please go to our website, again, alzheimersspeaks.com. Go to the About page and click on the Purple Angel. We would love to have you be part of that. And wish us luck with HealthStar Home Health Care opening up their first memory cafe today. If you are dealing with Lewy body, frontal temporal lobe, or aphasia, make sure that you check out those associations. If you need an Alzheimer's association anywhere in the world, check out Alzheimer's Disease International, and they can point you into the right direction. And if you're looking for holistic modes, don't forget about the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation. They just do fabulous, fabulous work. If you are working more socially, looking for engagement, check out Jiminy Wicket. That's a croquet game that's intergenerational and adaptable for those with dementia, or Puzzle with Me. If you're looking for puzzles that are bigger pieces, more age-appropriate, easier to handle. And then Alzheimer's Music Connect. Again, they have some great music out there specifically for Alzheimer's, research-based, and we'll be coming out with a holiday CD here soon we'll be telling you more about. So in the meantime, have a great week. And again, on Friday at noon Eastern, 11 Central Time, we will have another show called Fuel for Thought. talking about what our body needs. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye now.
Hi, I'm Lori LeBay, and I wanted to tell you about Alzheimer Speaks, which is another great podcast. You see, my own mother lived with dementia for 30 years, and I felt lost. Did you know every 3 seconds someone in the world is being diagnosed with dementia? Odds are it's going to hit your families too. We want to help you connect to services, products, tools, research, and stories so you can be prepared. Please subscribe to Alzheimer Speaks on your favorite podcast platform.